have returned to Gothic horror, but that's not surprising given the pedigree of this script. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. Scripts for State of Decay were originally written 3 years earlier by Terrance Dicks, right as Doctor Who was beginning its move away from Gothic horror. But given the time it was written, State of Decay very much fits in with the mid-70s Gothic horror era of Doctor Who. To the point where when director Peter Moffatt read the scripts, he agreed to do the story based on the strength of those scripts. But then, this season's new script editor, Christopher Bidmead, completely rewrote the script to try and emphasize the more science fiction focus the series currently had. And the director hated the rewrites to the point where he refused to direct the story unless he was given back the original scripts that he loved. And so it was reset back to the Gothic horror roots, although slightly modified to accommodate Adric. And boy, will I get to Adric in just a moment. One thing I'd like to say about the director, Peter Moffatt, he is no relation to any of the Moffats you might be thinking of, Georgia Moffat, Stephen Moffat. Although, interestingly, Peter Davison, his birth name was actually Peter Moffat, hence his daughter, Georgia Moffat. And so when I tell you there's no relation between Peter Moffat and Peter Moffat, I really mean that. Now, this story was really interesting for the amount of drama happening behind the scenes. When I say how much I hate Adric, I am not alone, and certainly the people on set really disliked Matthew Waterhouse. This was the very first story he filmed. Even though State of Decay is the 4th story broadcast, it was the 2nd story filmed. Meglos would be filmed next, and then Adric's original story, Full Circle. So this one right here was Matthew Waterhouse's first time on set. And by first time on set, I mean first time on set for a major television production. As much as I like Matthew Waterhouse now, there is no arguing that at the time he was an arrogant, precocious 14-year-old dick. Now, when you combine that with the fact that Tom Baker at this point was a raging egomaniac at the height of his power in the role of the Doctor, to the point where he was actively trying to direct this story himself, regarding which director Peter Moffatt took Tom Baker away to a pub and sat down and talked to him and said, "Look, mate, I am always happy to listen to suggestions from the actors and anyone else on set, but at the end of the day, I am the director, and what I say goes." And to his credit, that conversation actually worked well with Tom Baker, and from that point forward, he and Moffat had a very good working relationship. But the point remains that Baker was very, I guess you'd say titchy at this point. The relationship between Tom Baker and Lalla Ward was at an all-time low. They were not speaking to each other at the beginning of filming. Although by the ending of filming of this story, he had proposed to her and she had accepted and they were about to get married. But at this moment, the tension between the two of them was high. Amongst all of that tension, enter on set Matthew Waterhouse, who actually had the stones to offer Tom Baker advice on a particular line reading. And Tom Baker exploded. The director had to take Waterhouse aside and have stern words with him and impress upon him the fact that he needed to understand his place in the production. But you know, the fact that all of that drama was happening behind the scenes and yet such an excellent story came out of it is a great credit to the professionalism of everyone involved. State of Decay is a great story, one of my favorites of the Tom Baker era, and I'll have a little bit more to say about it tomorrow. I'll see you then.